right, guys, I know you've been waiting for this. I'm going to kick it off with just the total gallons used. So this is in no particular order, just again, the total gallons used. Seth Kuntz, 0.018. Andrew McCain, 0.99. Darren Dutton, 0.69. Richard Coker, 0.26. Brad Sankey, 1.06. Steven Lucera, 0.58. Cody Lambert, 0.29. Cody Pulliam, 0.25. Matt Mayer, 0.10. And Billy Hartzell at 0.28. Giving you your best results from a 1997 Ford F-250 at 0.10. Absolutely amazing. Now I'm going to kick it over to Justin, Tyson, and myself, talking a little bit about everything that's happened today and throughout the meet and greet. We're broadcasting live from Diesel Power Challenge. Now, you guys might hear this in a recorded version, of course, because it's a podcast. But, Justin, it's been a long day watching mile per gallon testing, huh?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was supposed to be the short day, and we got back at, 9?
Yeah.
9 p.m.
Now, Justin, this is your first time at the show. This is only my second time, so I'm not some sort of connoisseur of this. Just a little bit of experience. I'll say a few differences right off the bat from last year. Number one, we saw 4 people hit 0 violations.
Yeah, that was insane because KJ made it seem like it was some kind of mythical unicorn that it's happened, but we don't see it very often. And then 4 times one,
like and then in 4 times in one day. Yeah, absolutely nuts. Last year, the best run was from Cody Pulliam, who also has the most dyno experience. So we kind of thought that there was something to that about, you know, Cody, dyno experience, understanding how trucks respond to dynos. But it turns out Cody ended up with 2 violations this year, which, by the way, not a big fucking deal.
No, I heard one of the guys telling you it was like a video game. So
yes.
They're essentially like how they handled it.
Yes, me and Matt Meyer were talking a lot. We're like, this is a video game. Like, this is like an interactive, not with your thumbs, with your foot, which, by the way, Cody Lambert, did you catch this? Ran with no shoes?
I did not catch that.
Yeah, so shoeless Cody Lambert, he ran with no shoes for the whole test.
Hey, man.
Said you got to feel the throttle.
Okay, that works, man. Where's he from?
Great question. Great question. We'll look that up. But here's the thing: is that I think a lot of this had to do with nerves and feeling the truck. I almost feel like guys who had overthought it. It was tough to come back from overthinking it. So if you made a mistake in that early first 3 to 4 minutes, where it is really tough. I mean, watching the graphs on this test, it is harder the first 3 minutes than it is the last 10.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed also it seemed like the guys that went first were the ones that, because nerves pretty much essentially seemed like they were having problems. Like, unfortunately, you know, you don't get to see what's going on in the first round, so...
Hey, Brad Sankey. I mean, listen, we love Brad Sankey. Brad Sankey's not only a friend of the show, he's a friend of mine. He's a friend of Duramax Tuner and Calibrated Power. Brad had a tough day, man. Yeah. He pulled 8 violations. That was the most of the whole day, that single S480. And listen, again, we love Brad, and we love that LLY. It was a tough event for him. Yeah. I mean, and he was first up.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. We know him through sled pulling, you know, we know him, his story and stuff like that. And it's a different beast.
It is. Absolutely. You know, I thought it was funny. One of the guys I asked today, I said, what'd you do to prepare for this event? And he kind of laughed. Like, yeah. Not much. I'm like, well, do you daily drive the truck? Yeah, it was. And I'm like, well, do you daily drive the truck? Does it see a lot of traffic? You know, are you used to like stop and go and keeping up with traffic? Because I would say that's what this test most simulates is daily driving. Being out in a crowded area and speeding up at somebody else's desired acceleration rate. Not an open highway of you get to drive the truck any way you want it, but you're forced to drive along with traffic. And that's really what I feel like this mile per gallon testing proved.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those things where, like, through the podcast, you don't want to hear Paul and I talk about it for 15 minutes. It's a long test. And our podcast, I know the podcasts were a little bit shorter, but we needed to get highlights of it, and that thing is a long monster.
Would you believe this? Brad Sankey, somebody told me, so somebody timed this. Brad Sankey took 22 minutes and 40-some seconds to go through his test. He was first up. It covers 7 miles of driving.
Are you serious?
7 miles of driving over 20-some minutes. So just think about that. That is downtown traffic.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Being on the tollway and driving through downtown Chicago or any other major metropolitan area of you're going to hit stop and go. And we saw that. We saw 0 miles an hour for 20 seconds, 15 seconds. I don't know exactly how long, but for a long period of time now. I don't know, and I'm interested to ask. I think that's one of the things we'll have to follow up with Clint and with the guys who run the dyno and built the test. Is that designed to let the dyno cool down or the truck cool down?
Yeah, for sure. It was different. I would kept popping up to look to make sure nothing was wrong when I couldn't hear it. I was like, wait, what's going on down there?
Well, hold on. Now, this is another thing I want to address. Last year, we saw 3, maybe 4 trucks roll off the dyno saying, too hot, not going to risk it. It's day one. I want to make it through the whole event. I'm over my limit. We're going to take a DNF, a did not finish. Okay. This year, all 10 trucks completed the event all the way through.
Even the alternate got on there.
Funny story. Okay. We were getting ready to leave. Now, guys, keep in mind, this is a long day. Justin Tyson and myself, we're there. We're covering the event. We're live. We're running up and down a couple flights of stairs. We're running back and forth across the shop. We're interviewing people. And we're seeing all sorts of stuff going on. And all of a sudden we think we're done. And man, today's my birthday. We are ready to be done. I am ready to go get a steak dinner. And here we are, we roll up and another truck is strapped onto the dyno after I just interviewed Andrew McCain, who went last, which you guys heard. If you didn't listen to the Andrew McCain episode, go back and listen. Andrew had some issues up front. He thought there was a bigger problem with his truck than what it was. It turned out to just be a sensor, but he ended up going last because of this. So Andrew McCain gets done running and I double back to the dyno to go pack up all of our stuff, and I see a truck strapped down. It turns out it's our alternate. It's Chris Patterson.
Yeah, you should have saw his eyes. He was not happy.
I'm just turning around. I'm asking people, are we done? Did we miscount? What the fuck? What number's on his truck? Why does it say 11? Aren't there only 10 trucks? It was a panicked moment for Paul. It's okay. That's what I do. That's a part of the podcast.
Also, shout out to Billy for letting, I believe, Andrew switch spots with Andrew. Wasn't that what happened?
Good call. Absolutely. So such a cool thing that we saw that we talk about with Diesel Power Challenge about the camaraderie among the competitors. These guys want to win. These guys are hobbyists. These guys took time off of their personal work, their personal life. They're not a shop. They're not looking to make money from this. They're just looking to compete. And here they are. They're still friendly with each other, and we love that. We love seeing that in the morning. Yeah, so Andrew McCain, we'll recap it here. Andrew McCain had some rail pressure issues on his drive to the Red Rocks Amphitheater to go do the photo shoot this morning.
Yeah.
And he noticed, hey, man, I'm dropping rail. I don't really know why. It could be something small. It could be something huge. Of course, hey, you just hauled your truck across the country to get out to this event. Everybody thinks worst case scenario.
Yeah, for sure.
And finds out, no, it was an intake air sensor.
Yeah, definitely.
An air temperature sensor. No big deal.
And also,
but they swapped with him. Billy had drawn 10.
Yeah.
Andrew McCain had drawn, I think, third or second or whatever.
Somewhere
Billy went
third,
real early. And they swapped. And what was awesome is KJ told us about this at the meet and greet. He said, hey, man, every decision I'm going to put out to the group, and we're going to have a group consensus. There's some situations where, listen, if it comes down to one guy has to make the decision, I'm that guy, I'll make that decision. But he said, as much as I can, I'm going to leave it up to the group. Every single competitor said, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Give the guy the extra time. We don't want to win because of a technicality. We want to win because we're the best driver, because we built the best truck.
Yeah, for sure. They preach camaraderie there, and you see it instantly, leading into what went wrong today with a few people and the other people helping out. I mean...
Hey, listen, there were. So a unique situation. All 10 competitors finished the event without a DNF, but that doesn't mean that there was no problems. Mm-hmm. So we had a couple of guys have issues. So we're going to kick it over to Seth Kuntz and Cody Pulliam, talking about some issues they ran into after completing the full 7-mile or 20-some minute run.
For sure.
All right, so I'm here with Seth. Seth, your truck's pulled back in and on a rack right now. I had heard a rumor or something about the crank, but I heard you fire it up and drive it in. It didn't sound too rough.
Yeah, it's at idle. It clanks a good bit. It's got probably around 40 thousandths crank end play, and it's supposed to be between 4 and 17 thousandths. So we're thinking we either swell the converter or the drive shaft is smashing into the transfer case, because it was a manual truck and I didn't have time to get the drive shaft cut down, and it looked like there was enough room, but so we're gonna pull the pan, slide a new thrust bearing in it hopefully, and then we have another converter we're gonna put in it just in case, and we're gonna cut the drive shaft down just with a grinder.
It's 6 o'clock at night on Monday. Dyno starts tomorrow at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. You think you have enough time?
Well, hopefully if we end up not having enough time, someone hopefully will trade with us and we can go later in the day. These guys here are pretty open and pretty good about being nice about that. And
Sure.
yeah. It sucks too, because I'm currently in first. So if I was, 8th or 9th, they'd be like, well, maybe just run it and then something happens tomorrow, whatever. But the fact that I'm in first with zero infractions and it's doing as well as it did, I really hate to, quit now.
Yeah, no shit. Well,
it is the first day.
Well, I mean, especially with the power test being tomorrow, I mean, we're going to push every one of those components to their limit. If it's a little broken, it's going to be a lot broken tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd rather fix it now than have it, hanging out the side of the block tomorrow. So.
Good call. Well, good luck, man.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Cody, this can't be your truck I see on the rack.
It is.
What's going on, bud?
We think we hurt the converter. So we trained the fan, and we also threw a lockup box in. We'll pull the trans tomorrow and throw a converter in it, but we're not worried about it for the dyno because we'll be all locked up and everything. So we're worried about pulling the trans and changing the converter tomorrow.
Awesome, man. Well, good luck. We'll be happy to see this thing run and make some badass power tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we're definitely going to throw some power at it. Got a lot of spray for it. We're gonna dyno first tomorrow because KJ asked what I wanted to do, and I said I'm gonna go first and then throw the power at it, so I have all day to work on the truck. So,
good plan. I love that strategy. Well, good luck.
So, thank you.
All right, and so here's the issues. It comes down to Seth, 12 valve, dually. I did not. I kept calling this truck a dinosaur. He kept laughing. And listen, that's with all the love in the world. I love the 12 valve. Don't get me wrong. But he had some problems. He thought he snapped a crank. He thinks he snapped a crank. Yeah. Or the drive shaft is too long. They eyeball measured it. Hey, listen, love you guys. I know how it goes. They're looking into exactly what the problem is. But you know what they're doing right now while we're recording this, Justin?
Yeah, they're working right now. ATS is nice enough to let them work at the place. Obviously, after hours, they're supposed to close at 6. It's Monday. I know how we know how it is on Mondays.
Hey, big shout out to Clint Cannon, Ryan Jelinas, and all of the other ATS staff. So helpful throughout the entire process. You guys need anything, XDP, AMSOIL, Banks. Everybody stepping up in a big way. And speaking of Banks, I actually got a chance to talk with Lightning J and Chris, the head of engineering over there, electrical engineering, who we've interviewed in the past. So if you guys have watched our Banks visit videos, you guys have seen Chris. Justin, brand new challenge to this year. So the diesel power challenge is going on. And here's Banks setting these guys up with every sensor on earth that they could think of, going through this massive monster data logger, and then they're going to give out awards based on what your data log results were. Now, none of these competitors were prepared for this. Nobody's competing to get best intercooler air density, or manifold air density. But what's cool is we're actually going to see the results. Here's these awesome street-driven, badass, high-power trucks. We're going to see how they really perform. We're going to see the real data. Because you know what every guy told me? Every single competitor today? She spools up great, Paul.
Yeah, I heard that from every single person to the point where I'm like, I kind of want to edit this
I'm sorry, guys. There's no way that all of your trucks could spool up great. One of you has to have the worst spooling truck, and one of you has to have the best spooling truck. That's capitalism. That's math. That's the way shit works.
Yeah, there's no favoritism. It's literally, there's facts, right? So, yeah,
and that's what I want to give a shout out to Gail for, and Chris and Jay and the whole Banks crew. We're going to see the facts. We're going to see the data. We're going to see who has the most efficient truck in every portion of their truck, every portion of where air moves. They're measuring the air density, they're measuring the temperature, they're measuring the pressure. We're going to see who really has it.
Some NASA shit.
Hey guys, we've been really excited today. This has been so much fun. We're so grateful to be the official podcast of Diesel Power Challenge 2019. Huge shout out to all of the sponsors. And for today, this has been Paul Wilson
And Justin Tyson.
Thanks for listening. Guys, check back with us tomorrow, Tuesday, June 4th. We're going to be on top of the dyno with the peak power testing, and we're going to see what these trucks really have to bring.
Yep.